And I was just telling Luke that his typo was that he only put one L in your email, but
It would make sense. He accidentally typed two W's, actually.
yeah, two W's the
Yeah.
last few weeks for sure.
Collins.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Collins with 5 L's. That would be
Yikes.
brutal.
oh man,
Yeah, that's brutal, dude.
just
That's
roast him
brutal.
as soon as he gets in.
Yikes.
Dang, yeah, we got to be nice to our guests.
Yeah,
Um, welcome back. It's Yelling at Sports number 7.
Yeah, I think
Today
7.
is October 23rd, and we're ready to talk some ball. We are joined by our good friend Tanner Collins, who is, I don't think it would be mean for me to say, unfortunately, a Jets fan, right? That's fair?
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it. Unfortunately, a Jets fan.
Yeah, so, man, we can jump right into that if you want.
Yeah.
Kind of the floor is yours, really, because there's so much going on with the Jets, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's certainly dysfunctional, you know. Every year the Jets find a new way to disappoint you.
Mm-hmm.
And they've certainly done it this year. So, yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. It just seems like a team that really has no grit. A team that has like no chemistry, which makes no sense. You know, a lot of the guys have been drafted there, have been there for a few years, other than the main culprit, Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, it's not pretty right now. It's not pretty.
Main culprit. That's an interesting term for him.
How
is there anything behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I feel like a lot of the things that are happening are his fault, right? Like, there's always the conspiracy theory that he's the GM and he's making all the decisions, and I don't think it's that radical. But, every time I watch this team, the offense is sputtering, and Aaron Rodgers is just sitting on the bench by himself, no iPad in hand, just looking off into the stands, doing nothing. And it's like, you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be the quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, obviously from the outside looking in a way, like not being a Jets fan, but yeah, when you watch the games, he always talks about accountability and calling people out. But in a weird way, I almost want to see him doing that on the sideline instead of on Pat McAfee every week. Like, go up to your teammate and say, this is what was wrong and this is what needs to be right, instead of waiting until you talk to Pat and being like, Mike Williams ran the wrong route. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Fitzpatrick put it really well. Someone who's played for all of our teams except for Caleb. So unfortunate for you, Caleb.
two teams.
He said, he basically was saying, he's right to say players need to be accountable, but as the quarterback, you should be shouldering that blame in public and then holding them accountable in the locker room. And I could not agree more.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
100%. That's a great way to put it. And, this team didn't play together in preseason. They played 4 snaps together last year. And you could see it in week 1 against the 49ers. Like, what I was looking for was like, okay, we're going to lose this game. I already know that, right? There's no cohesion. But with that, I was like, okay, they're going to be figuring stuff out on the sidelines. He's going to be talking to Brees. He's going to be talking to Garrett, right? Allen's going to be talking to Garrett. Like, hey, this is kind of what Aaron's expecting. And then you pan to the sidelines, and it's like Brees, Garrett, and Sauce talking to each other, and Hackett sitting on the bench next to Allen Lazard and Aaron Rodgers, and it's just like, what are we figuring out right now, guys?
Yeah. Like, I hate Nate Hackett so much. I'd hate to have to lean on him to fix an offense.
Anyone that thinks that he should have kept going, or even kept going last year because Rodgers wasn't the quarterback, is so frustrating. He is such a terrible play caller. It's so obvious what we're doing when he's calling plays. It doesn't matter if Zach Wilson's the quarterback or Aaron Rodgers or Trevor Siemian. It's like, it's bad.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seemed like the Steelers, although a good defense, were all over everything the Jets were doing, and were able to just like they were just playing really well defense, and just didn't matter what they tried to draw up. The Steelers were on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think for the first, I don't know, what is it, 28 minutes of the game, I was like, okay, this is it. We finally started to put this together.
yeah,
And then Rodgers throws a death pass to Garrett Wilson in the middle of the field, albeit it was a dime, and it was an incredible play by the DB,
hmm
right? But he throws this death pass where the safeties are going to absolutely demolish Garrett Wilson over the middle. They pick it off. You go down and score. It's a ball game again. We get the ball back at half, too. It's like we could have walked down, got a field goal, right? We were moving the ball in the first half.
yeah,
We didn't. So it could have been 15-6, 18-6, right? 23-6, getting the ball back. And now it's 15-12, and it just completely unraveled.
yeah,
Everybody's just like, yep, we can't run the ball. We can't throw our screens anymore. Our quick passes aren't working. Garrett can't catch the ball. And it's like, what? Where was this team literally an hour ago? They're
Yeah.
two different teams.
I also I want to put some respect on Beanie Bishop. Don't just call him, never just call him a DB ever again. That
I
is
was trying to think of his name. I knew his
that
number,
is-
right? 31, right? He's a
Yeah,
rookie. He's
yeah,
done. He's
I'll
undrafted.
say, yeah. For what it's worth, I didn't know he existed until Sunday, but I definitely do now. One of the better names in football. I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to Lil Jordan Humphrey or Kool-Aid McKinstry, but just fun to say. Beanie
Yeah,
Bishop.
Yeah.
I like Beanie Bishop too.
yeah. He's
It sounds
been
like a nickname. I assumed
It
it was a
does.
nickname. Like I've seen, Taylor and you retweet stuff on Twitter about Beanie Bishop, and I just assumed it was like a nickname for a guy until we played you guys, and I was like, ah,
no,
that's who Beanie Bishop
yeah.
is.
That's
Do we
Beanie
know if
Bishop.
it's one of those like certified nicknames where it's basically their real like is that his legal name? Like Beanie Wells back in the day, I think his real name was like Chris.
I have no
But
idea.
it's
I
Beanie
haven't done
Wells on all his
research into
cards
it.
and fantasy and stuff.
But I will
Interesting.
always call him Beanie Bishop because that's just a great name.
Collinsworth kept calling him Beanie Baby, and I don't really love Collinsworth, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, Beanie Baby was awesome,
Beanie Baby.
especially because
That's a
he's
good
like
one.
young, and yeah, undrafted rookie, coming out, and he said in his post game interview that he wanted to try to get Aaron Rodgers to sign the balls that he intercepted, which is savage.
I love
His
that.
by the way, his real name is Shannon.
Nah, that's
Shannon
Beanie.
Bishop.
That's
Unc.
Beanie.
Shannon Bishop. Yeah, he definitely would not have
It's
been
Unc
picked
Bishop.
up if his name was Shannon Bishop. So
Yeah, no
No,
shot.
Unc.
No shot.
Unk. But yeah, the Jets are in trouble. How do we feel about the Devontae Adams addition? Like,
I mean, I think it's great, right? I think he's a great wide receiver. I think we needed a number 3. Mike Williams, while he did run the wrong route, has not gotten up to speed as well. He's played, it was like 5%, then like 15, 25, and then he got up to like 40, 45% of the snaps. But he just wasn't working out. And then you look at Alan Lazard, who quite literally is a bottom 25 receiver in the league without Aaron Rodgers, and then is a top 25 receiver in the league
Yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers merchant for sure.
Right? Yeah, and you think about that with Devontae Adams too, and it's like, okay, this could really work. And I think, getting him and then going into the Pittsburgh game, we're not going to see what's going to happen, right? It would be a lot better if we got him and we went into a bye. But or if we were 3-4 right now and we don't have to absolutely put the pedal to the metal.
yeah,
But with that, I think he's a great addition. I think he fills the third biggest need that we had. With that, he can't block and he can't stop the run.
yeah,
So, and Hassan Reddick's coming back, obviously. Hassan Reddick is not great against the run either.
No, but that was
So-
shocking to me. It felt like all hope had kind of been lost with Reddick. At least, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe if you're in the Jets circles, it was less surprising. But for me, it certainly it seemed like, okay, this guy's going to be moved, especially when they got Adams, because it's like, well, now that's another contract they have to pay for. They'll probably just
Yeah.
move Reddick at this point. So I was kind of surprised to see he decided to report, but I guess that's good. Like you said, he can't really stop the run, but it's something.
His agent left. I don't know if it was mutual or he fired him or the agent
Yeah.
just dipped. But he's got Drew Rosenhaus now, as his
Okay.
agent, which
Legend
I
of the
think,
game.
yeah, exactly. Just immediately was like, dude, this is one of the dumbest decisions you could be making in your career right now.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's being sued by his business partner, hired some thugs to follow him around. So now he's got charges of intimidation.
That's
So I
crazy.
think
I
he
didn't know about
realized,
that. That's insane.
yeah, no,
Insane.
it's such a crazy story. So he's being sued by an old business partner for like $1.6 million. And the guy in the lawsuit is also claiming that Hassan Reddick hired a bunch of goons to follow him around and intimidate him out of the lawsuit. And that came out like a week and a half ago. So
That's wild.
this guy just like gave up $4 million on fees and all those things. He's being sued for another 1.6, and he decided he wasn't going to play on $15 million guaranteed. And now he's like, I mean, his career. I'm glad that he reported, but if he didn't report, his whole life and career would have been over. Like,
Yeah.
he would have no money left.
He
Yeah.
definitely
After
needs
the-
someone like Drew for some guidance because that's
Yeah,
crazy. Like, I have an idea for him though. I think if I were Drew, I would say, okay, you hired these people to intimidate the guy to drop the lawsuit. What if you just hire more to intimidate him to not do this one?
right. Yeah,
Just
keep
double
just
down.
double down.
Yeah.
It's like
Eventually, the guy
chasing.
just has a whole crowd following him around,
Yeah, it's like
scaring him out of it.
it's chasing in gambling terms, right? He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
getting those
just
losses
keep
back.
doubling down. You have to win eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that's
Well,
funny.
I feel like that's a lot of Jets talk. Let's let's get some more.
Yeah, I
some
don't
more
want
of
to
the.
force you into your sorrows too much.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
it's
want you to.
okay. It's just one of those things. And this is like, I've been through a lot of disappointment with the Jets in my life. 2 top 5 quarterbacks, all the hope in the world, over and over and over. And like going into the season, there was obviously like the thought of, it's the Jets, right? We're always going to end up in a bad situation. This might be the most disappointing year I've really had with the Jets. I mean, we have a Super Bowl roster,
Yeah,
or at
Yeah.
least a contending roster, and things could be different with a couple kicks and things of that nature. But it's like, dude, it is so demoralizing. It's like,
yeah.
why do I
The on
keep
paper
doing this?
champs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
So-
paper champs. The last thing I'll ask about the Jets, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'd like to ask anyway. Does it feel weird to see Sam Darnold having so much success while the Jets are not having success?
Not at all. You know, you look at a guy
Yeah.
like Geno Smith, right? Goes out to
Yeah.
Seattle. He's a beast, right? His first year out there, and it's just like, not at all. I'm fully expecting it to happen to Zach Wilson. He's going to end up, on a Shanahan roster, a LaFleur roster,
I was
a
thinking that
McVay
too.
roster, and then he's going to be great. There's a lot of talent in those guys, and we just have never had the coaching or the playmakers to like actually get it out of them. So
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that, like, I mean, it's not really a hot take, but like where you land in the draft is so borderline more important than what you bring to the table, because like we forget sometimes that these guys are all in like the 0.1% of athletes and of
Yep.
quarterbacks. If you get in the right situation, like Brock Purdy, no offense to Brock Purdy, if he gets drafted by like Carolina, no one would know who he is. He would
100%.
maybe not even be like in the league right now. But
Same
he
with,
got
like-
in a great spot.
yeah, you look at like C.J. Stroud versus Bryce Young. I mean,
Yeah.
that's look, C.J. Stroud's a dog. He's an incredible quarterback, but Bryce Young, he can't be as bad as he seems. He's
No.
just beaten down, and it's very easy at such a young age to be so demoralized, and then you're in a pocket that collapses all the time. You have wide
Yep.
receivers that can't get open or drop the ball, and you're through your rookie year, and you're like, I'm a bust, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to make it here. And then you got C.J. Stroud, who's hooked up with a great offense, hooked up with a great coach. Have Nico Collins, they draft Tank Dell that same year, and he's flourishing. Same
Yeah.
with Caleb Williams, right? He's got 3 great receivers. It's like, it's really just where do you fall, and what's put on your shoulders in the beginning by the coaching staff and management. So
And then if you're Trey Lance, you did fall into a great spot and somehow still screwed it up.
Yeah, and you still
That
suck.
is
So.
that is crazy. Like thinking about like Trey Lance was supposed to be so good, and then
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people were out on him because he only played like a few games in college. But
Yeah,
I
super
guess the
raw.
Niners thought that they had something, but like
Yeah,
having being able to do, if he could have done just a fraction of what Brock Purdy has done for them, he'd probably still be there.
yeah,
But he
just
couldn't
based
even do
off
that.
of pick value, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even after Purdy had a great, I think it was like year and a half. It's like, okay, is he the guy?
Yeah,
And if Brock Purdy was drafted at 3, it's like he's a top 5 quarterback, right? But it's because he
yeah,
wasn't picked right in the top 5, and you really want those guys monetarily speaking, and obviously, all that to work out, and he just didn't. So
yeah, it's crazy to see because any other QB in that draft, if you ask them beforehand, I would bet that if they had the chance to choose their landing spot out of the teams that are looking for quarterbacks, they probably all would have said San Francisco.
yeah,
And he's the one that got it, and it just didn't work, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I mean, I think like they were talking about moving up to the Jets pick that year to take Zach Wilson,
Yeah.
and that's a great example of like if Zach Wilson was in that offense, I'm a firm believer he would be a top 10 quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah,
and
he
Right?
possibly a
probably
Super
does
Bowl
well.
champion.
I don't disagree with that, right? You probably see the Sam Darnold that played against the Chiefs last year, where everything was put together and he was making insane throws and his feet were set and like he had all the intangibles. And yeah, I mean, I feel for these quarterbacks when they get drafted by the Jets, man. Like it's sad because you
Yeah.
know what's coming for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough. Let's get into some scores here. By the way, I know you have a hard out at some point. Don't be afraid to be abrupt and be like, all right, it's time for me to go because I
You're
don't really
good.
know. So,
My girlfriend took a nap, so we're totally.
great.
gotcha.
Yeah, we're
Great.
good.
All right.
Great.
Do we want to cover the Thursday night game? It was disgusting.
Oh, it was gross.
The
That
Broncos
was,
wiped the Saints. That's all you need to know, really.
Yeah.
It was 33-10,
Yeah,
and it was
really
so
bad.
gross. Jags Patriots was actually kind of fun. I mean, the Jags kind of handled it
There's a punt
for the
return
most
for a
part of the game.
touchdown.
Yeah, I think Drake May actually might be good. It's 2 weeks in a row now that I've been pretty impressed with him.
He played pretty well this week. We actually started him in our fantasy league in Tanner's league.
Yep.
And it was
I texted Caleb like midnight the night before. I was like, "Are you up? I have a really crazy idea for fantasy tomorrow." I was like, "What if we bench Kyler and start Drake May?"
that was in.
But I don't know if Kyler, he might have matched him because he had that long touchdown.
He had 10 points on that one play, but
Yeah, so he might have got him anyway. But still, 24 from Drake May. That's pretty solid. Tanner, you're a fellow AFC East guy. What do you think about Drake May?
I was a firm believer in him. I still am. If he works out or he doesn't, I don't know. But I liked his intangibles. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, in his size and his sneaky athleticism. Is he as athletic as Josh, or have the feel
I
for
love that
running?
it's sneaky.
Yeah, but it's
I
like,
agree,
no.
but I love that it's sneaky.
Right, it is.
It has to
It's
be
like,
sneaky.
but like Josh Allen now, it's like, okay, we know what Josh Allen is.
Well, yeah,
right.
yeah.
He's Cam
Right.
Newton reincarnated with a better arm and probably more accuracy.
But he doesn't have the cool font or the crazy hats.
Yeah, it would be cool
We'll see
if
if he
Josh
gets
started
there.
wearing cool hats.
Yeah,
I think
and invent his
that's
own
the only
font.
thing missing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like Drake May. I really enjoyed the whole quarterback draft class this year. Like, I really like Jaden Daniels. I think there's a lot of times, somebody wins the Heisman and they kind of get written off because they're not like a stereotypical, prototypical quarterback. And the league is finally starting to shift away from that thought process. Like, you look at Lamar Jackson, an incredible college quarterback, doesn't get drafted until the end of the round because he might play wide receiver, which I think is absolutely insane. Like, he just won Heisman. He's the best quarterback and the best player in college football. You've got to figure out a way to make an offense for him, right?
Yeah.
And same with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Caleb Williams is incredibly talented. So all three of those picks, it looks like, are going to work out for those teams.
I feel like they all went to good spots for like the player that they are, and have. I mean, obviously Drake May doesn't have any weapons whatsoever, But now that they know they have a piece at quarterback, they can go out and try to find a few guys to throw to.
Okay, put some respect on Kendrick Bourne's name, Caleb. Okay, he is
The parlay
he's
master.
still on the Patriots. Okay, I still have his Niners jersey conveniently right next to me, and I tweeted this week that I think he's going to get traded back to the Niners this week because Patriots don't use him. Niners are desperate for a receiver right now, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Not a
Credit.
source, just a vibe.
Please credit.
Just a vibes
Yelling at
pick. I
the
like
Bills.
it.
Yeah. Bills Titans, slow start for the Bills. Well, I was going to say the Bills offense, but the Bills offense and defense. First quarter was not pretty, but once we got Amari Cooper going, the offense really opened up. He was dealing with a hamstring injury early in the game. I thought maybe he just didn't know a lot of the playbook, so he couldn't play, but it turned out to be a hammy. And once he got feeling good, got loose in the second half. Great game. Keon Coleman had his best game as a Bill, 125 yards and almost a touchdown. He had toenail out of bounds, and I would have won $200 if he caught it, so that would have been nice. But yeah, not a whole lot on this game. It was a game we should have won, and we did.
Keon Coleman had to tell Amari Cooper what his route was on that touchdown.
Yeah, on Amari's first reception, which was also a touchdown. That
was awesome.
Because Amari's first target came on third down on the first drive, and he dropped it, hit him right in the hands for a first. And it was like, not a great start.
Luke almost called him a bum.
No, I didn't almost call him a bum. Needed time. He's used to receiving passes from Deshaun Watson. It might take a second to adjust.
Yeah, that's true.
So
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. But no, I mean, fun game to watch if you're a Bills fan, but not a whole lot of takeaways from it. Just won a game that we should have won. Dolphins, Colts, gross. 16-10 Colts. I'm okay with moving on if no one else has anything to say. It's disgusting.
Tua's coming back this week, and he's refusing to wear the Guardian cap.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's like, it's a personal choice. Good luck with that, buddy. In his defense, it would not have stopped his most recent one because he just led with his head right into Damar Hamlin's chest.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to help.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, you have to stop caring about looking cool and being safe. Especially if he gets one more concussion. I guess we've been saying this every year, but one more concussion, how much more can you take?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that he's still playing. I mean, I know that modern medicine and stuff like that, you kind of move on, modern technology, okay, it's not as bad as it was, but dude, he has been comatose 3 times now. It's not just like a concussion and he gets up and goes to the sidelines. This guy's unconscious on the ground.
Yeah. There's not many times in my football watching career, for lack of better terms, that I've seen someone visibly concussed in the way that Tua has been, and we've seen it with Tua 3 times now.
Yeah,
which is crazy from one player. So it's insane.
Scary to see.
Oh yeah,
it is.
When you see it happen and you just see the hands tense up and the body is stiff as a board, it's hard to watch. Hopefully they got some offensive linemen there to help protect him too. But selfishly, I'm excited because I have Tyreek Hill on a couple fantasy teams, and
I do too. Yeah,
he's been doing nothing.
Yeah, and my teams are holding on. They're okay. Yeah. But I really need Tyreek to go back to form here.
I will say I've never been more impressed with Tua as a player than I have been these weeks that he's been out, because I've been the guy standing on the table. He's a system QB. He's not that good. He's just an accurate passer and a good offense. They are so bad without him.
They are.
They're frauds with him and bad without him. That's a big jump.
Yeah, sometimes the system and the quarterback feed off of each other. I think that's a perfect example of it. Lamar in Baltimore and Tua in Miami, that team is dreadful without him. So, is Anthony Richardson bad at football?
Ooh, potentially.
If we're in the trust tree, I think he is. I don't want to admit that he is.
Skip a couple minutes.
Don't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Rewind it and then skip it. I didn't say that. Skip ahead. I really hope he's not, but I think he might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, his stats on the season, I know he's been hurt, but his stats on the season aren't looking good. I think he's under 50% completion percentage, and his doubling up his touchdowns with interceptions. Like that's not
Yeah.
that's
He
not
only
good.
completed like 10 passes, right? Against
Yeah,
the Dolphins,
he was like
who,
10 for
It's
24.
rough.
yeah, and the Dolphins are not a good team. Like defensively too, they're not nearly the team that they were last year. So, you would expect somebody that's able to run the ball and keep the defense honest just by himself would be able to complete more than 50% of his throws.
Yeah,
It's
because that's
definitely
such a huge benefit when you can move the ball with your legs. You know, it makes it a lot more hard on the defense, and he's still not, even with the threat of that, he's still not getting anything done, which
Yeah.
is
especially
very telling.
only having 10 completions and rushing the ball 14 times. Like you should, I mean, I don't know, maybe throw a couple more runs in there. Like when you're going to be throwing an incompletion because some of them are bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he has a beautiful deep ball, but it hits like what once a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you can't really just count on that.
It's amazing when it hits,
every
but
time
It
it
it's
is.
rare.
It's pretty
when it does.
incredible. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome when it does.
But I feel like his deep ball is like over 60 yards, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like when he throws the deep ball, if it's 40 yards, he's
It's-
thrown at 60. Like
Yeah.
you're not.
Yep.
You got to get to his spot.
Yeah,
To be
if
able
you
to,
get to 60 by the time the ball gets there,
Yeah.
it's good. Because
I'd
if you're,
love to know
like you
his
said, if you're only running
completion
40, it's still
percentage.
going there.
Yeah, I
I'd
feel
love
like
to know his completion percentage between like 30 and 50-yard throws.
I feel like
I'm
he's
sure
very,
that like league average is low, but I wonder if he's even completed one.
yeah. I feel like he's
air yards.
very very Joe Milton-esque when he was at Tennessee. Like could only throw the ball deep, but
Yeah.
he's able to run a little bit more than Joe Milton was, and that's why he was a first round pick.
So just a quick Google search. I don't know how accurate this is. It says, according to playerprofile.com, Anthony Richardson's deep ball completion percentage is 33%,
It's like a 3.
which is actually higher than I expected. I wonder
That's not
what
bad.
I wonder what their criteria for deep ball is.
Yeah. Well, I also
So-
wonder how many he's thrown. Like I don't watch Colts games.
Yeah,
I remember the
that's
one
true.
that he connected on this year off platform that was like insane.
Yeah.
But I don't know how does he throw 1 or 2 a game like
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you're completing like mid 40% of your passes, but 33 of your deep balls,
That's
just
true.
throw deep every
That's
play.
true.
Yeah,
There's
right?
no point.
Dude, run 4
At that
verticals
point.
and then just QB
Yeah.
draw it if it's
Just
not there.
Spam shot Y wheel like I do in college football 25 every single play. Shot Y wheel every time. Last thing on this game, I can't believe we spent that much time on that game. We talked about Tua not wearing a Guardian cap because it doesn't look cool. Who's the number one quarterback that could wear one and it would not change his aesthetic at all? I think it's Kirk Cousins. Okay, yeah. Okay.
That is so
Mutual
crazy.
agreement right there.
Oh my god.
That was easy. Okay.
Tanner, welcome to watching our minds work together.
Yeah.
All right, Lions Vikings. Any
That
takes
game
here?
was
This was a great
so much
game.
fun. It was a fun game to watch. The Lions are good. I mean, the Vikings are good too, but like
Yeah.
Jared Goff, I know that both the quarterbacks in this can be in the MVP conversation, but I feel like Jared Goff like went out there and was like, "It's my time. It's my time." You have a
I
couple
love
more
that
years.
I love that we live in a world where you just said both of these quarterbacks are in the MVP conversation in week 7, and the two of them, and you said it with a straight face, and I didn't laugh at it. Neither one of us did. And the two quarterbacks are Jared Goff and Sam Darnold. I love
Yeah.
that. This is a great timeline, it's for that part especially.
Yeah. So I thought I had a lot of fun. This was the game that I watched. Like I only watched this game during the 1:00 window. Just had this one on because I didn't feel like pulling up a streaming service.
You would never.
I would never.
do that.
I would never. I would
Yeah,
never. I don't-
illegal
I don't
streams,
have-
dude.
Yeah, I
we
would
don't
never
do
wrong,
illegal.
and it's-
I would
no one
never
should do that.
illegal. Yeah, that would be bad. So I was just on a YouTube TV, and I was like, I want to watch this game instead of the Texans Packers. But then I was able to catch the end of the Texans Packers as well because I was flipping back and forth.
Yeah, both games are great.
Yeah, Gibbs is. I feel like he gets slept on a little bit because Montgomery's also running back there. But when Montgomery went
Sonic
down
and
and
Knuckles.
Gibbs got to like eat, he was so good and so fast.
Yeah, Gibbs is awesome. I like that combo is so fun. So like I don't wish they were split up, but there is
Yeah.
part of me that wishes Gibbs could just be like an every down guy because he's
Yeah.
just so good.
80%
so
of
good.
the snaps, like
Mhm.
definitely in the red zone, right? Like for sure.
But I really don't have too much left on this game. I know Justin Jefferson always has a decent game against the Lions. He had 80 and a touchdown, but
which is I think way below his average, and that's
way
still a
below
good
his-
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Next, staying in that division partially, we had the Packers narrowly defeating the Texans 24-22. CJ Stroud's worst game as a pro, probably.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
was
of any
tough.
other ones offhand. 20 of 21 for 86 yards, no touchdowns,
10,
no
10
picks
of,
for what it's
10 of
worth.
21. 10 of 21.
Sorry, 10 of 21,
I
yeah.
was going to say,
20 of 21
what
would
were
be...
they
Also,
throwing over there?
completing 20 passes for 86 yards would be insane.
That's like the most Zach Wilson stat line I could make up.
Yeah, that's
honestly.
true.
All
Just nothing but screen
checkdowns for
passes.
like 2 yards.
Yeah. Jordan Love, on the other hand, had 220 with 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. I love that he came back from his injury in a Brett Favre jersey and just hasn't looked back. He is Brett Favre.
Yeah,
he
he's a
leads the league right
gunslinger
now in passing touchdowns and interceptions. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
He's gunslinging, and it's awesome.
I can't wait for him to be a Jet in 10 years. It's gonna be awesome.
You'll be lucky if it's 10. You might have another like 18.
Yeah, actually, probably
until
15.
then.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
10 would be like
Ideal.
incredibly
We'd be
early.
like-
Yeah, you might win a couple chips if that happens.
Oh man,
But,
yeah.
that was
another fun game
technically
to
a good
watch.
game. Yeah, it was a close game.
I love how
I
you
saw
just,
Diggs trying to fight the whole team before the game. That was cool.
You're on the
That dog
Score
out.
app, right?
Yeah.
Did you just skip over the Bengals and Browns because you didn't want to talk about it?
No, I snaked it. On accident. But I would have gladly skipped over that game if it wasn't for the fact that we have to talk about Deshaun Watson tearing his Achilles, right? Or was it ACL? Achilles?
It was
Achilles.
Yeah. And the
Tanner,
crowd
you were really
seemingly
upset
excited
'cause
about it,
You
which
love
I
Deshaun
don't disagree
Watson,
with.
right?
Yeah,
I'm
big
sorry?
Deshaun Watson guy, right?
Me, personally, love this guy. Right? There's just something about him. Right? He's always getting massage.
Yeah.
He's always loose, ready to roll.
Don't really love his play, but he seems like a great guy.
Yeah. Seems like somebody I'd want to hang out with, really.
He's probably a better person than football player.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but this might be a good debate, right? Like, he's the worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And
He's probably the worst
he's
person in the
one
league.
of the worst humans, in the world. What is worse,
Yeah.
Well, okay. Hold on. I know what is
Relatively
worse,
speaking, I know what you mean.
But in relative terms, right?
One of the worst
Like,
humans in the world.
Yikes. Can we cut that out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll cut that out. Dude, Myles Garrett, like, talking about him being, like, how good of a person he is, and then being, like, for most of his career, he's been a stand-up citizen.
Yeah.
Is so funny. But also, Myles Garrett smoked Mason Rudolph with a helmet. So we see where his moral ground stands.
Yeah.
That is true. And Jameis, he had the most dramatic, like, it felt like he was, I don't even know, like, almost cutting a promo somehow of just his, like, monologue about Deshaun Watson. And I love Jameis, but boy, was he wrong on that one.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Someone was like, this is like R. Kelly being P. Diddy's lawyer. Like, this is not good.
What did he say? He said, you never want to pull a man when he's down. Like, Sean Watson would like that.
Think he would love that. Yeah, he would love to be pulled when he's down. I think he did that often. It's kind of the whole problem. Myles Garrett saying that, what was his exact quote? It was like, Deshaun has mostly done everything right for the most part. Something like that.
He's been a stand-up citizen or stand-up guy through all of college and most of the NFL career.
And most of the pros. Like, what was that most? Would you like to elaborate on that?
Thanks, Miles. Yeah.
And like Jameis is like, he's had the whole world against him for the last 4 years. I'm like,
why?
We can't just brush over why he's had the whole world against him. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Lastly,
as a
have you guys seen anything? Go ahead.
As a Steelers fan, neither of these teams scare me.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
I needed to say
dumpster fires.
I still hold out hope on the Bengals. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but their defense isn't that good.
So bad. Yeah.
And
I think they're more
their offensive
risk
line's
to
still not
play
good.
spoiler than they are to like actually make a run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
And
could definitely spoil
that scares
some
me a
runs.
little bit.
Yeah. Before we move on from this game, have you guys seen anything about potential Myles Garrett trade? Do you think that's possible?
Maybe I haven't seen anything about it though.
I saw a couple things floating around. A lot of people in Packers fandom are thinking he's going to be a Packer, but I'm hoping he's a Bill. I know it's unrealistic, but his mentor is Bruce Smith, so it'd be so cool. But
What's his contract like? How many years left does he have?
Yeah, so I actually have a thing here. He has 3 years left, but this year a team that acquires him wouldn't take on very much cap space. I have the picture right here. They would take on. There it is. I was just about to guess because I couldn't find it. So if a team acquired him this year, they would only owe him $800,000 for the rest of the season.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 seasons, they would owe him 19.8 non-guaranteed and 25 non-guaranteed. So in theory, you could rent him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about his void years?
I'm not sure because I don't have the actual contract pulled up. I just have the tweet from the Spotrac guy.
Yeah, so he's got 4 void years, and I don't really understand what void years are, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. I would love to pretend I do.
Listen, we know ball, not contracts.
Not contracts. We're not accountants here. But in
we didn't go to college for that, so we won't know anything
also
about
didn't
it.
go to. I didn't.
Oh, I didn't go to college.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't go to college for anything, so it doesn't matter.
You know,
Didn't know where you go with that. So
well,
he does.
Like he owed $37 million in close to 38 in 2027 on a void year.
Okay, so maybe that's what. So the Spotrac guy, I don't know if you guys follow him. He or if you use Spotrac, breaks down contracts. He tweeted what he would be owed the rest of this year, which I said was $806,000, and then the next 2 years. And he also showed what the Browns' dead cap would be. So the Browns would have to eat a bunch of cap next year and the year after. So maybe that makes up for the void years.
I think it's like 56 million or something crazy in dead cap.
Yeah, that lines up. Because it's 19.3 and 36.2. So 56 over 2 years.
Everybody.
Yeah, but if you think about the Browns, they're not going to be good the next 2 years. You're not going to cash in on him in 2025, I don't think. He'll be 30 at that point. Not like you would this year. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it would make a ton of sense if they moved him for a first-round pick or, whatever the market value is.
It's time to blow it up anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
And by the time you recoup and get ready to make another run, he's going to be washed.
Yep.
Move him. So move him and move him to Buffalo. That's my hope right there. We have breaking news. It's not that big of a deal because I think everyone is okay. But we might get Bryce Young this weekend because Andy Dalton was just in a car accident. So it says he's being evaluated by team personnel, which tells me he's probably okay because I don't think if it was serious, the team personnel would be doing it.
Yeah.
But maybe we get Bryce this week, the return.
Get him back out there, dude.
He needs to be back out there. He can't just rot on the bench. He has no value on the bench. Like he has to go out there and show that he has something.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sign for Bryce's career too. That Andy went out there and he struggled mightily as well. Not that Andy Dalton's a really good quarterback, but he's at that point in his career where I think in any situation he can go out there and be average, and he's well below average because of the team that they have. So it's like, okay, it wasn't all Bryce Young's fault, to kind of go back to what I was saying before. So
yeah. I mean, was that not kind of predictable? Andy would come in and be a spark for one game, and then once people are like, okay, this is the current state of Andy Dalton, they would know exactly how to play against him, and they would lose a bunch of games again. I mean,
all right, I think we should rapid fire through some of these last games so we can.
I'm down
because we're already at 40 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No. Believe me, no one has this problem worse than us. We'll be just going on about like a Pixar tier list, and all of a sudden be like, oh shoot, we've been recording for an hour and a half. It's like, whoops. So we're fine. But go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I also didn't.
If you want to rapid fire
I didn't get to talk about the Steelers that much, so I would like to talk about the Steelers a little bit, but not right now.
I want to rapid fire the Steelers real quick. Steelers got to win.
Stop
No,
it.
go ahead.
Seahawks Falcons.
Okay.
The Seahawks are fun. Kenneth Walker is a stud. I mean, he only had 69 yards. Nice. But I mean, I feel like he is like the heartbeat of that team a lot of the time, and you can almost every game. I feel like you can clock him for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Um,
Did DK get hurt?
He did.
Yes.
I don't know how serious it is, but I think he was taken out on the cart, so probably
Yeah,
not
I think
great.
he's week to week. I don't think it's a full season, but it's
Okay.
not great.
Oh, okay. Well, he might be the number one guy that leaves on a cart and isn't hurt. I feel like I've seen him do that like 2 or 3 times already.
He's just a massive dude, so it probably just takes a lot to walk out there.
Yeah.
So might as well get the cart. Eagles Giants. Giants are bad. Giants are really bad.
Really bad.
Saquon revenge game was a lot of fun, especially if you had him on a fantasy team. Yeah. Panthers really bad. Commanders really good. What a get right game for them.
This is turning into your movie reviews, Caleb.
Yeah.
Good, bad.
Yeah. Well, this is. I mean,
facts, dude.
That's fine. Hey, I'm not stopping
You can't
you.
argue.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me that the
Spitting
Panthers
facts right now.
aren't bad and the Commanders aren't good?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Is Daniels a system quarterback?
Mariota did play well. If I'm
Or
not
are the
mistaken.
Panthers that bad?
Probably both.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, probably both. I think it's a good get right spot for the Commanders. They were a big favorite, and I was kind of afraid of laying any type of money on it just because you never know after the game last week. And so they got right. And so that's good to see good teams do that. So
yeah. And not even like they needed to get right game because they played close with a very good Ravens team.
Yeah.
But it's good to let you know that a close loss isn't going to hang on your season too hard. Rams Raiders. The Rams are still hurt.
Both suck.
But the Rams are supposed to be getting Cooper Kupp back this week, which is huge.
If they don't trade him.
Yeah.
Apparently they've been calling people, not even people calling them. They've been calling people about moving him, which is surprising.
Bring him to the Steelers.
I could see it actually.
Yeah.
We need
definitely
another
see
target
that
for Russie.
As long as they don't send him to the Chiefs. It's fine by me.
That would be disgusting. I would hate that.
Also, someone reporting that they're trying to trade Stafford to the Vikings. I don't believe that.
What?
That is.
If I'm
the worst
wrong,
thing
I'm
I've ever
wrong. But it's Jack Settleman. Shout out to Jack Settleman. I don't know too much about him, but I see him floating around on Twitter sometimes. I think he does like a podcast with Marlon Humphrey or something. Okay. But he is reporting that they're in talks to send him to Minnesota, and he seems like he's serious about it.
Why would the Vikings do that?
I would be so
confused.
The best
quarterback in the league.
Yeah. I would genuinely feel so bad for Sam Darnold if they did that.
That would derail their season, I think.
He was saying that like they feel it would put them over the edge to potentially win a Super Bowl this year, and I'm like.
He's playing very well. You can't just trade for a quarterback because you lost to a division opponent.
Yeah, you lose one game. That would be the shortest leash of all time if Sam Darnold loses one game.
Yeah, 5-0.
They trade for a new
to the Lions, who might be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah,
and they're like, all right,
I've seen enough.
Would have won this game.
This guy can't hang with the big dogs, so we're gonna trade for a guy who lost to the Lions weeks ago. Yeah. So he's already adapted.
Speaking of the Chiefs, they looked good. It's
Mahomes though continues to look very mid this year.
Yeah, he looks very okay,
which is kind of scary because if he starts to look like Mahomes, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think he will at some point too.
Hard to assume he won't. I would like to, but I can't.
Do you think there's anybody out there in a fantasy team that like just picked up Kareem Hunt for like nothing?
Yeah, I don't know. In a league that they're like they got him for free and didn't have to pay anything for him, and maybe they're like recording a podcast with their commissioner right now.
And their commissioner picked up the other two running backs on the Chiefs and has already.
I was honestly shocked. Like I texted Caleb, I was like, "Yo, Kareem Hunt's just there, like not even like he's just a regular pickup." I'm like, "Bet," and it's worked out. Great.
Fantasy's been so weird this year, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very mid across the board. Like I don't have a team. I mean, our team is pretty good in your league, but
Yeah, but as usual, we have the number 1 points against. I don't know what the updated is for this week, but going into last week.
Play better defense. I don't know what to
I
tell you.
know. Yeah, we're trying our best.
We don't even have defenses in this league.
Yeah, you don't even have that.
True.
It would not help, though,
But yeah,
because our flexes are doing better anyway.
Before we get into the Monday night games, I would like to talk about the Steelers. Sorry, Tanner. I know we got to talk about
No, you're good. Do your thing.
But Russell Wilson, he's looked bad in the beginning. Like, I think it's given that you sit for 6 weeks, you're probably not going to be firing on all cylinders as soon as.
Did you lose him too?
Yeah.
I think I cut out for a second.
I was like, is it me or
honestly?
I was waiting because I'm like, maybe I lost them and them two are just chopping it up right now.
I'm still recording, so everything I said counts.
Okay,
but like, I feel
keep cooking.
it's given that you're going to struggle in the beginning of a game after you sit for 6 weeks coming off an injury. But he really turned it on in the second half, and that moon ball is back.
Still got the moon ball.
Still has the moon ball. George Pickens, I love to see him in one-on-one coverage against anybody. I know the DBs.
Anybody?
Anybody.
I know there's one cornerback on the field that he went one-on-one with, and he didn't get a reception. But
he still had 5 receptions for 111 and a touchdown. So
no, he cooked us. He cooked us. Don't get me wrong.
Maybe by anybody he meant any team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they should have had Sauce traveling, but whatever.
They should have.
They definitely should have.
If Sauce was that good,
then we could have found out.
I was kidding. But it's also
I don't disagree with that, Caleb. You might honestly. I think you're making a joke, but I honestly firmly believe that at this point we have like our 4th string cornerback out there, and we're not traveling Sauce with George fucking Pickens, your guys' only target guy. It's like.
Pat Fryermuth had a crazy catch though.
Okay, yeah, Fryermuth's good. Don't get me wrong, but we're not going to put Sauce Gardner on Pat Fryermuth. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We have somebody to cover Fryermuth.
No, he should have.
As the unbiased party
I
in this
that he was going to be traveling
debate here, I didn't take it that way. You meant that's their only good receiver,
like a receiver type. But it's not like you got another number 1 or 2.
That's their clear cut most dominant receiver, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Until they get
but Najee. I've always said this, but Najee is a second half running back. Not only just second half of the season, but for some reason when he comes out of halftime, he's ready to run people over. Like he wants to run the ball hard. He got the touchdown in garbage time, but I still feel like he was running the ball very hard.
Have you thought about having them just full time go to Jaylen Warren in the first half and then full time Najee in the second half?
That would be crazy.
I think combined you guys would have like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. But yeah, I like Najee Harris, and it's fun to watch him when he gets a full head of steam running down the sideline. But yeah, I'm excited about the Steelers. Beanie Bishop, we talked about him. I mean, the first pick was incredible. The second pick was just a great heads up play to catch it off the bounce.
Yeah. And make a big play out of it too.
It was so close to a touchdown. Like it was so close. But Devontae Adams hawked him down.
Dude, okay, that play, real quick, right? That play was exactly what I'm talking about with like effort and cohesion and stuff. Like Garrett Wilson's never going to track back on a tackle like that.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't trade for Devontae Adams this week, he would have walked him to the end zone.
Yeah.
But Devontae Adams, a seasoned guy that like cares about winning and stuff, is like, I need to hawk this guy down, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else on the Jets would have done that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, it was a good play by him, even though it still resulted in a touchdown. But still a great play, like to save it.
Yeah.
Because that you're in Pittsburgh, you get a defensive touchdown, that place is going crazy.
Yeah. For sure.
The defense plays football.
The defense plays football.
Common phrase on this show.
That's what I've been
specifically
saying.
for the Steelers. Defense plays football.
Every time the Steelers get a turnover, I text Luke in all caps, the defense plays football. And
we've been doing that for years, and to their credit, they're still playing football.
They're still playing football.
Always do.
Football.
Because sometimes the offense doesn't play football. They're playing something else. But the defense always tends to play football.
Because the Steelers' defense is just, it really is that simple. They just play football. They're not doing anything cute. They're just going out there and playing better football than the people in front of them. Like, they're not doing stuff like, I saw a screen cap from Philly this week where they had like Brandon Graham guarding Malik Neighbors. Like, what are you doing? Just play football. What
Yeah,
what
that's
sport are you
disgusting.
trying to
Don't
play by
overthink
doing
it.
that?
Yeah.
Just play football, and they play football so well.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Mike Tomlin's question? Somebody asked him about Russell Wilson's QB sneak. Did you guys see that clip?
I don't think I saw that.
He was like, it was a QB sneak.
Yeah, the lady was like, tried to make this big thing like, did you see anything about Russell Wilson's resilience on that QB sneak? And he's just like, it's just a quarterback sneak. Yeah.
Yeah, my guess. Yeah, my guess would have been the QB sneak is the QB sneak.
Did
Yeah,
you,
it will be
did you
what we
see
need it to
his other interview where they were asking him? They were like, "Oh, like, what was your thought process hearing people talk down about starting Russell Wilson, this and that?" He just looked at her, goes, or him, I don't know who asked the question. He's like, "That's why I get compensated what I do to coach football."
Yeah,
Nice.
and he walked out.
Like,
And
that's
he
why
gets up and walks
I'm
out.
highly
Like,
compensated. He's the man.
Yeah.
I saw. What's your D coordinator's name again? The old guy?
Oh,
Or is
that's
he like position coach?
Danny Smith is the special teams coordinator.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw his quote where he was
That
like,
might
"I'm
not
cut
be his
from
name.
I'm cut from a different cloth." That was awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
We were like,
yeah.
the one tweet was like, "It's how old people say I'm him." He was
Yeah.
like, I'm cut from a different cloth. Oh man.
Yeah, Danny Smith was fired up on the sideline after they blocked
Nice.
the field goal. He chews so much gum.
Yeah.
Someone
Bad day
said
to be a pack of gum when the Steelers are down.
they said he's a pack of gum's worst nightmare. But yeah, cut from a different cloth.
That's all you got for Steelers?
Yeah, that's all I got. That's I won't throw any more salt in the wounds. But
Okay.
Ravens Bucks or Chargers Cardinals. Where do we want to go?
I'll start with Ravens Bucks. Why not? Bucks
They're
came out
unfortunate.
hot. Things turned horribly when Baker threw that pick in the end zone.
Oh my God! Right? I mean, the play before or two plays before, Mike Evans like tears his hamstring, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just
He gets
like,
hurt
it just-
on catching a touchdown, the first touchdown of the game. He gets
Yeah.
hurt. Then he comes back in and gets double hurt.
Yeah.
It was not good.
And then interception. Chris Godwin dislocates his ankle. He's done for the year. It's
That
like
was why is he playing at the end of the game?
I was
you have 40
actually,
seconds
we
left?
finally disagree on something. I was just about to say, a lot of people were saying, why is he in the game? I think that score is just close enough that you still have your guys in. Because
but
there's
40
like a
seconds
minute
is
left.
hard.
There was like 50-something. I think when the
Yeah.
play ended, it was 40-something.
Yeah.
And like, if you can get a chunk play and kick a field goal, you have a chance to kick an onside kick and try for a miracle. Like, it's going to
And I
be one of the
guess-
craziest comebacks you've seen in a long
I
time,
guess-
but it's not off the table.
And hindsight is 2020. If they end up winning that game, they're
If he doesn't get hurt, we're not
about Chris Godwin
even
being
saying
there.
anything about it. So I'm assuming that's what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
But I lost you.
Yeah, I said,
But
if they come back and win that
I
game,
think with a minute left, and they just had got an onside kick, so they're probably like, oh, maybe we can do it again.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine them like scoring onside kicking and then putting in their reserves.
That's
you
true.
know that's
Yeah,
at that point, why do you do that? Why are you still trying down 17? You
Yeah.
know?
exactly. It would have been super weird.
Lamar looks good. Derrick Henry looks good.
Lamar's having his best season yet,
Yeah.
like
And
easily.
he might not.
because
He might not win MVP because Jared Goff
I would say
and
he's the
Sam Darnold are
front.
playing so
He's
well.
the front runner right now. But yeah, if Darnold
Yeah, I
or
think-
Goff beat him, that would be awesome.
Yeah, or Sam Darnold, dude. If Sam Darnold beat Lamar Jackson to an MVP, that would be my claim to fame for the rest of my life.
That would be
Not even
incredible.
on my team, but I am a huge Sam Darnold truther. I almost wore his jersey because I fucking love Sam. That would be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be great.
But yeah, Lamar, like, not to sound like a Lamar hater because I like Lamar. Like, I wasn't that impressed with his MVP season last year. I was,
No, not
Yeah.
at
if you
all.
look at it on paper, or really even on the film, it doesn't really strike you as an MVP season. It's a great season, but not
Yeah.
an MVP season. This year, he has been amazing. So
100%. Yeah.
at this
I think-
rate, he would be the clear-cut MVP.
Yeah. I
they
think
started a little slow, but he's really picked it up.
last year was a great example of, it's a QB obviously award now, which really sucks because last year would have been a great time to not give it to a QB.
Yeah.
I thought
Last year,
McCaffrey
we
should have
found
won
out
it.
for sure that it was a QB award.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
For sure. I am this. People will say this, the Ravens hater in me, and maybe it is being surrounded by Ravens fans. They tend to make me hate them at times, but I do still need to see it in the postseason from not just Lamar, from the Ravens. I feel like they're going to fizzle out. I worry. I'm not that I worry because it won't bother me if they lose, but generally I worry that they're leaning too much on Derrick Henry too early. Lamar's playing so good, just lean on him and save Derrick Henry for late in the season because it's not tractor Cito season yet. Justice Hill, yeah, you can use him.
He's been very good this year.
Yeah, and I thought that would be the plan, would be to wait, use Henry sparingly. Obviously, he'd still be the starter, but not giving him a ton of carries a game and wait until November or so when you really need to run the ball. And we're approaching that, and they've already been giving him the ball so much. And I worry that he's 30. It's not ancient, but he's no spring chicken. If you were running him that much, run him into the ground every single play.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he can hold up. And maybe he can. He has proven that he's different. You know what I mean? He is one of these legendary backs.
He's cut from a different cloth.
So maybe he can hold up. But I think you saw early in the year they were kind of slow on offense. They kind of struggled. And maybe their plan was to wait with Henry. Yeah. And then as soon as they started feeding him, everything changed. And they're so hard to defend now. But we'll see if it holds up.
Yeah, I will say last night they did I think it was, I don't know who the commentator was, but he was trying to make a big deal about the first half. Derrick Henry had 4 touches in the first half, and he hasn't had less than 7. And it was a typical media trying to make a big deal out of something, and they kept panning to Derrick Henry on the sidelines, and he's just standing there,
he's chilling,
totally fine with being out of the game, right? So I think they will. I think if he stays healthy throughout the postseason, for me, they have to be the Super Bowl favorites. That guy gets you 3 to 4 yards a carry, regardless of what's happening. He's still maybe the fastest running back in the league. He's topping out at 21.75, 22 miles an hour on his long runs.
Train. Yeah. Because his acceleration's not good at all. Yeah. But if you let him get going, you're in trouble because he's moving as fast as anybody, yards. And he's also twice the size as anybody else.
Yeah, don't put him
bigger than your linebacker.
Don't put him in on the goal line. You don't want him in on the goal line. But if he's first and goal from the 40, let him.
Dude, Ravens inside their own 20. I'm damn, Derrick Henry's about to house this thing. That was my thought last night, and he ran at 82 yards, right after my thought. I'm it's insane that you can a common casual fan can watch that and be okay, I know what's gonna happen, and it still happens.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. Can't stop it.
Yeah,
they can't stop it. And it was funny. There was somebody that tweeted. I think they were a Bucs fan, based on the tweet, and they were like, "Oh, Derrick Henry had 200 yards on the Bills, but he only has 40 against the Ravens." And then the fourth quarter happened, and he finished with 170.
Yeah,
it's dang. Also, what did we do to you, Bucs fan? Why are you calling us out?
What was that all about, man? It's the Buccaneers and the Bills.
Yeah, there's no connection there at all.
Yeah, the Ravens just need to push the Derrick Henry long run button as much as they can, but also keep him healthy as much as they can.
I'll say,
in good shape.
Yeah.
Did either of y'all watch the Chargers-Cardinals game? Because I did not. I don't have ESPN Plus.
I did.
You have ESPN Plus?
I do. Yeah. I'll definitely not link you after the pod. But yeah, I watched this game. I had money on it. I've told Luke before, but I've been really finding minus 300 odd bets, and so I had money on Chargers plus 3.5. So and then also in your guys' league or in your league, Luke, I was down by 20 points, and Cam Dicker, the kicker, got me 21 points.
Yeah, he scored all their points.
Dude, he killed it, right? So it was a strange game. It felt like it was going to bust open at any point, and it never did.
I did see the clip of Kyler scampering to the end zone on that long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, running like a bad toddler.
Yeah.
But right into the end zone.
Going 22 miles an hour, running like a 4-year-old.
It's the Mr. Krabs walking is what it sounds like when he's running.
Yeah. Yeah, he's if you rip a flywheel down a hill. That's Kyler.
Oh man. But yeah, it looked like not a fun game.
Did you just catch that, Caleb? We just had a double. Oh man, right there. That was crazy.
Look at us. We're synced up. Me and Luke are cycling.
Chemistry.
We are. It's kind of weird, and we both severely hurt our backs over the weekend. I think we're both feeling better.
Yeah, I'm
kind of sus, honestly, that we both had hurt backs on the same week.
What were you guys doing?
We both got our backs blown out.
We'd be in trouble if that happened when I go there to help you move.
Yeah.
Oh man. We were lifting the bed. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
We blew our backs out on the bed.
It was a broke back weekend, man. We were hurting.
Oh my god.
But I think that wraps up this week. I do have one thing I want to brag about real quick. I'm going to share it. I'm going to see if this works. Let's go to window and let's share this. Okay, can you guys see this? Me and Caleb are on fire.
Oh, dude, I love this.
We only missed our wild card picks, which are intended to be really hard to hit. Everything else, clean sweep. Our best week yet, because we've been bad. We've been really bad.
I think both of ours were plus 600 odds or more for the wild cards.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, I know Elijah Moore was 600. I can't imagine Ali Cox was any better.
Maybe 750.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are going to include me in this segment for this week, but I've got DraftKings up. I'm dialed in for this here. So
okay.
And I want to pick your brain, Luke, too, for the viewers. Because there's two separate things that we need to get into if you guys are cool with me participating.
Oh, yeah. I'm so down. Hold on, let me just stop that. Okay, so we've been doing our picks later now just so that because it's hard to make them this early.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to give us some picks, we will gladly include them. And we can still bounce some ideas off each other.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So what do you got?
So my favorite this week, and I would get on this now, is Vikings -2.5 on Thursday.
I love that, and I don't even know who they play off the top of my head.
The Rams.
They play the Rams.
That's
in LA. So 2.5, win by a field goal. I think they win by a lot more.
Yeah,
I love that.
Personally.
Easy.
Yeah, so that was my one pick for favorites. And then
see me on my phone. I'm not ignoring you. I'm writing these down.
No, that's fine. I respect that. So I just want to get this straight, right? So it's a favorite, an underdog, an anytime touchdown, right? And then a long shot touchdown.
And then a wild, yeah. So like anytime just like a regular, something that people wouldn't be like, wow, that's a bold one. Just a normal touchdown scorer. And then a wild card is like, you're wild for that one.
I love that. All right, so for my underdog, actually, let's go touchdown. I'm going to go anytime touchdown. Total truth or moment, Devontae Adams, I think, gets into the end zone this week.
Love that.
Yeah. Against the Patriots, not a very good team. They've got to get the chemistry going. They've got to get the offense going. I think it's going to come down to Adams getting into the end zone.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there like odds criteria on the touchdowns, or just like?
I think
not really.
Some of them have been like 350. Some of them have been 3,000.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we had fullbacks on here the one time. One of which is a full-time D tackle that also plays fullback. So like it can get a really deep cut, or maybe someone that just hasn't scored in a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My underdog, I'm gonna take the Eagles plus 2.5.
Oh, I love
that. They got their offense going with the run last week. The Bengals, like we already talked about, their defense isn't great. I think they probably win this game outright.
Yeah, that's actually crazy that they're underdogs.
They are.
Like, say what you want about the Eagles' struggles, but I don't know. I feel like they've been a much more complete team than the Bengals, which is crazy to say about the Eagles because they haven't really been a complete team, but the Bengals are just in shambles on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it hasn't been great. All right, anytime long shot touchdown. Now this one's gonna be crazy. All right.
Yeah, reach into your bag for this one.
Here we go. Hold on. Where's his odds? Because I feel good about this one. I'm going Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
Yes.
Anytime touchdown this week for the Commanders against the
I
Bears.
like that.
I think he gets into the end zone. I don't think they have the odds up actually for touchdowns at the moment.
Is he?
If I had to guess,
is he starting?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is week to week, I think,
Okay.
with broken
Okay.
ribs.
On the off chance that he doesn't, give us a random off the dome
All right,
sleeper
random off
pick.
the dome sleeper pick. I'm going. Man, I'm trying to think of like a random tight end right now.
Darnell Washington.
That's going to the well right there. It's
Darnell
always
Washington.
anytime I want a deep pick, it's always a tight end.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Dawson Knox. I don't know what his odds
Okay.
are. I don't think
they're
they're
probably
very
long.
good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Dawson Knox touchdown score. So first
Love
one's
that.
Marcus Mariota. If he doesn't play, Dawson
Back up
Knox.
Dawson Knox.
There you
Love it.
go.
Love it.
I'm looking at these next week's games, and the Browns being +9 at home with potentially Jameis starting against the Ravens. That's just AFC North football. Like I feel like it's going to be a closer game than it should be.
Yeah.
That's true. I think the odds makers are forgetting that that's an AFC North game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like on the surface, it should be just an absolute blowout. But then again, the AFC North is weird.
But you have to remember, like these teams don't like each other. They're
out all the record books.
No love loss. all the cliches that you can think of for these two teams. Like that's, but I like that one a lot. I also like the Falcons -2.5 against the beat up Buccaneers.
Okay,
I like that. Yeah,
the Bucs are certainly depleted.
I didn't. Certainly 2.5. That's a really good one. That's one I would get on. That line's definitely going to move up to close to 4. I would assume.
Also,
same with the Vikings line.
Looking at it, I don't remember the last time the Steelers were -6.5 point favorites or more. Like, that's a sight for sore eyes. I love seeing that.
Can I say something, Tanner? Can I say something that I promise is not mean?
Yeah, you guys, lay into it.
I think I like the Patriots to cover this week.
Okay, I respect that.
We talked about how good Drake May was.
Yeah, I was just talking about how good he was. Yeah, I think I like them to cover.
7 points feels a lot of points.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't love them to win. I'll probably talk myself into one with them to win because of I'll see the plus sign and I'll be, ooh, this looks good. Yeah. But on the surface, I don't really like them to win, but I do like them to cover.
I respect that. I think that's a fair play. Mm-hmm. The Jets struggle against quarterbacks they don't have film on too. Our defense is depleted. I mean, we are out 2 cornerbacks, both are starting safeties. Like Jermaine Johnson's out for the year. It's not a good defense right now. So if they can string together a couple drives, I think, because who knows what the Jets are going to do, you know? Looking ahead, so I scrolled down too far. Thursday, the Jets play the Texans. This is next week. But they have the Jets favored in that game against the Texans. The Jets are at home.
Wow.
But there's no way the Jets line stays at -1. They are going to be underdogs going into that game.
Take the Texans now.
Yeah, that line will move.
I would 100% get on that.
Yeah, that's a good line to get on.
The over-under is also set at 43.5, which I feel like is low.
I have, Caleb, I might need a sound effect here off the dome. I have a coach firing game this week. Okay. The coach firing sound effect. I see a 49ers get-right game here against a poor Dallas team. This is the end of Mike McCarthy. I think the Niners clean. Actually, now that I say it out loud, I forgot how hurt the Niners were. But I'm going to stick to my guns. Screw it. I forgot the Niners were so banged up, but I'm in too deep now. So, coach firing game. They're going to smoke them, and McCarthy is done. Yeah. This is the end.
I can't believe the Steelers lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
they're not good.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
I mean, the 49ers, right, they lose Ayuk, but they've got Juwan Jennings, who's going to step up. He's a good receiver.
Yeah.
And Ricky Purcell is playing now, or Purcell, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
Purcell.
He's back. You're right.
So
he's back.
And he played last week. Had 3 catches last week. Like that, those 2 guys I think are going to fill in just fine. Like Juwan Jennings on 3rd down, he might be as effective as Derrick Henry within the 10-yard line, right? In his own 10. It's like it's 3rd and 7. You know Juwan's getting the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be Juwan.
He gets 8 yards.
I think they call him third and Juwan.
Third and Jawan.
That's awesome.
Yep, 3rd and Juwan. For what it's worth, I mean, maybe they get Debo. It sounds like he's very sick, so I don't think so. Like he's in the hospital, he's so sick. But
Ooh.
Yikes.
yeah, I think
didn't
they
know.
said he has pneumonia, so he's like super, super sick, which is really scary. But who knows? I don't know how that works. I don't pretend to be a doctor, so maybe.
We did not go to college. Just one
Not go to college.
Did not go to college.
No
So
degree.
maybe we'll see Debo. Also, I mean, if my prediction is right, we're going to see the GOAT, and I'm going to have him for first touchdown scorer in that 49ers-Cowboys game when he returns to the Niners. So
Is
we'll see.
the trade deadline this week?
They extended it from what it usually is, so it might be next
Is it
week.
week 10 now?
If only there was a way we could know.
If only we knew.
Let me see.
If only there's a way of knowing.
When is the NFL trade deadline?
November 5th.
November.
All
You
right.
beat me.
So 2 weeks.
November
So
5th.
Yeah.
week 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple weeks yet. So
That's crazy.
maybe we'll see Cooper Kupp in black and yellow.
I'm kind of done with chasing receivers as a Steelers fan.
You've had
I feel
what,
like-
2 this season?
Yeah, I feel like I just get my
Tired.
hopes up, and then it's just a letdown. Like what's gonna happen? Am I gonna be the dog that caught the car when they get one? Like I'm not even gonna know what to do.
What do you do when you get the mailman? You didn't think you'd get that far.
Do you remember when I called a mailman a post officer?
I do remember that.
That's a good name, actually. I
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Where does
It
he
actually
work?
makes a lot of
Where
sense.
does
It
he
was
work?
an accident, but it works.
He works at a post office.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm with it.
a post officer. Oh man.
I was
Okay.
so confident, too. Do we want to wrap up with our bingo cards?
Wow. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. We're at
Yeah.
111 already. Bingo cards. Maybe we'll save for next week. We'll do like an official NBA preview next week. Tanner. I sometimes forget where you stand with NBA. How versed are you? Do you have any takes?
No, I don't really watch basketball that much. I throw in some random bets. I got one tonight. Couple first baskets, right?
Love that.
Definitely gonna
Love
hit.
that.
Oh,
So
you know what you should. Oh, DraftKings probably doesn't have it. I was gonna say you should get in with me on this bet that's almost certainly not going to hit, but but it gives you action every time the Lakers play. You can bet at plus 5,000 Bronny James double at any point in the season.
I love
So
that.
every time the Lakers play, you just have action until he gets
and
a
you just
double
need one. You just need
Just
one
takes
to
one.
hit. That's it.
Just takes
I
one.
love
So
that.
I have on 2 separate bets, I have a total of 20 to win 1,000. Bronny James double.
There we go.
That's crazy.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, do we have anything else on NFL this week?
Luke, I want to pick your brain for
Let's
the
do it.
viewers' sake. How do you come up with these parlays? And how do you pass
man.
consistently?
I don't know. I wish I could say there was a science, but like it's kind of just a vibe. Like I'll walk you through, the one I hit recently last week, kind of how my brain worked for that. So maybe it'll help describe how it works, but it's really it's not a perfect science. But I'm just like, okay, I need some touchdown scores here, and I'm just looking at the games, right? And I see like the Colts, and I'm like, okay, the Colts have Flacco. Flacco likes Josh Downs. I think I'm gonna throw Josh Downs on there. And then I'm like, the Texans are without Nico Collins. Tank Dell is like a really good player who I thought was like making a push as almost like a 1A guy last year to Collins, like that good. So I'm like, he's almost certainly going to score because Nico Collins scores pretty much every week. So why wouldn't Tank Dell score with Collins out? So I'm like, let's throw him in there. Mark Andrews, super due, couldn't be more due. And Lamar recently was responding to someone on Instagram who was saying that Mark Andrews is washed and was like, bro, shut up. So I'm like, he's going to get him the ball. And then who else did I have? Godwin. Mike Evans had just been scoring too much. It has to go to someone else at some point. And Godwin's a good player.
Godwin touchdown this year has been very good to me too.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
And then I had Godwin, and then I think, is that all 5? am I missing somebody?
I think you may
Yeah, I
have
think
had
that
like
was
a running
that
back in there or something. Like somebody like
no,
minus.
no, it was all receivers, but it was AJ Brown.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
AJ
that's what it
Brown,
was.
I
Yeah.
had a thought for that too. It wasn't quite random, but again, just kind of off vibes. I'm like, he missed a couple games. He feels like kind of a stat guy. They want to catch him up on his stats. He's going to score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's how it happens. That's how the magic is made.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely thought, like in an actual process, right? Like you go off of like the social media kind of aspect of it.
Yeah. There's thought, but it's very untraditional thought.
Yeah, no,
It's a combination
I mean,
of stat and like feel for the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because neither one tells the whole story. But if you can try to toe the line and like merge them a little bit, sometimes you can find some really good value. I'm also
For
very
sure.
big on value. Like I am just obsessed with value, even if it's not necessarily like a lock. I'm just like, if this guy's odds are longer than they should be,
Yeah,
I have a hard time turning it down. And granted, it costs me often, but when it works,
yeah.
it's worth it.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I remember you and I were definitely big into the parlay game, and you would like you'd send me some of your parlays, and I would like there was a string of them, right, where I was like I'd play 5 out of 6 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this sixth one's just not gonna hit. Like I
Yeah.
love you, Luke, but there's no way.
Yeah.
And you would hit that sixth parlay. I mean, I've had some bad beats following your parlays or not following
for
them.
sure. I'm
and
sure.
It's pretty insane to me that consistently you hit quite a few every year. So like I'm always intrigued on like what your process is, what your thought process, whether it's statistics and where you go, and like it's intriguing to me because to me honestly no one does it better than you. Honestly, I think on this show you should have a segment for it because I don't know if there's anybody out there that hits parlays like you do. So,
yeah, it is like, not to toot my own horn, but like when I hit this recent one of my sisters was asking me about it, and like, she doesn't gamble. And I was trying to emphasize like how lucky I am to hit that. And I was like, honestly, a plus, like it paid out at plus 58,000. Like most people aren't going to hit that in their whole life. Granted, it was the longest one I've hit yet, but like I've hit comparable ones. So I've been very fortunate to hit some of those. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, the best way to dumb it down, I would say, is a combination of stats and people being due, or maybe the matchup, and then mixing in that little bit of like the vibe or the feel, or maybe it's a comment you saw from one of the players, something like that. Looking under every rock.
I love that.
Yeah. For the listeners, I don't always hit. Like last night, through that same exact. Through that same exact. In fact, I lose way more than I hit, but when I hit, it's just big enough to be worth it. You know what I mean?
You're supposed to, right? But like 58,000, right? Like just to break it down, you have to win 1 out of 579 of these bets.
Yeah, to be profitable.
To make more money than you do, and like I know for a fact you've done that. Like you've hit probably 8 or 10 that I know of off the top of my head. So it's like that you are way within the odds. You're hitting them at like 1 in 150, 1 in 100 when they're 250 plus, odds, like plus 25,000 or whatever it is. So it's like it's intriguing that you can make a profit off of something that these books really make all their money off of, right? Like FanDuel and DraftKings posted that they've made combined like close to like an astronomical, I think it was like $1 billion off of strictly parlays, and you're beating the book on parlays. Like, that's insane.
Parlays generally are for suckers, really, and especially the long odds, like adding a guy like Mark Andrews at 4.5 to 1, but I live with the suckers, and
you're no sucker,
make it out.
You're the king of the suckers.
King of the suckers. King sucker. But no, I was gonna say, based on that same method, I had Zay Jones at plus 1,000 to score last night. He didn't come close. I don't even think he had a catch. So they don't all go well, but when they do, it is awesome. I appreciate the praise. I'm not great at receiving compliments, but
for sure, dude. I appreciate the bets you send me.
Hey, hopefully we can hit some more of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Trying again tonight with NBA, so we'll see.
Let's go.
Caleb, you
One
got
of the-
anything, or you're looking frozen
one-
on my? Oh, there you are.
One of these days, I know that the new studio is going to go crazy because Luke's going to hit for like
Yeah, I'll
$1
just
million.
hit something that's
Dude,
just
for
like
real. Like,
this.
yeah.
No, this one. Yeah, I'll just hit one that's like really life changing. Where I'm just like, oh yeah, I hit this bet. He's like, oh, you're gonna buy a new desk for the studio. I was like, no, I'm buying a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be nice. That would be nice.
Come with me, Caleb.
Yeah, that would be
for-
sweet.
But yeah, no, that's really all I have. I mean, I think this was a lot of fun. Tanner, you have to come on again sometime.
Yeah, dude, this was a blast. So thank you guys for having me on. Sorry that it ran so long, but this was
that's good.
a ton of fun.
I have two
So-
quick things before we go, specifically for Tanner. I will trade you an NHL prediction for an NBA prediction.
Oh, okay. I've got some bets in right now.
Okay.
So hold on, let me pull my bets up. So I've been betting a lot of NHL recently.
Okay, yeah, I know you're a big hockey guy.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite sports to watch, especially throughout the winter because obviously, football dies off and I'm not the biggest basketball fan. So, yeah, let's get into it. I have dumbed some of these odds down, right? But I'll give you my favorite. Okay, I know you can't locate me. Come on, get this off the screen. So tonight, I've got some overs action, and I bought down on some of these. So I've got 3 games in a parlay, and then I've got a long, 11-leg parlay, but I think it's already started. No, it has started, unfortunately. But all right, let's go to. So I've got the over in 3 different games tonight. This parlay is plus 300, so nothing crazy. But over 5.5 in the Avalanche versus the Kraken game.
Okay.
Kraken have been outplaying what they should be this year. The Avalanche could score 6 goals by themselves. They have a good offense and a really good power play. I've got the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets over 5.5. Maple Leafs just put up 6 by themselves last night against the Lightning. The Blue Jackets, I think, will get a couple. I think this game ends 4 or 5-2. So, and then I've got Hurricanes and Oilers over 5.5 as well. 2 of the best offenses in the league. The Hurricanes have brought in a couple defensemen this year, but the Oilers are obviously insanely good. You guys know Connor McDavid, and you don't watch hockey. So that guy's insane.
Sure.
They've got Draisaitl, and both have great offenses. So that's where the money is tonight for me. Plus 300 over.
I know Draisaitl too. No big deal.
Oh, well,
Someone say
you
I
are
know
from
puck.
upstate New York, so you
Someone
should
say
know.
I know puck.
You do know puck, dude.
Owen
But that's where
Power.
my money is tonight.
No big deal. I know some names. Just this guy's talking puck. Well, I sent you my parlays for tonight, but I will. I'll throw you a couple futures. I talked about the Bronny double.
Yeah.
I also really like, and part of this is admittedly biased, because I think our head coach was so bad last year, and we have a lot of talent this year. JJ Redick, Coach of the Year, parlayed with Brandon Miller, Most Improved Player. This pays out at $119,500.
I love that. I don't even know who Brandon Miller is.
You will.
So this is the type of basketball chat that I need, right?
Yes.
These are the bets I need.
He is he's a guard for the Hornets who had a really good rookie year last year. Would have won Rookie of the Year if Wembanyama didn't exist. And this year they're going to get LaMelo Ball back, who's their best player, which will let up the defense a little bit for Brandon Miller. I think he has a really good year.
All right. I love that. I appreciate that.
I said I had 2 things for you. Me and Caleb forgot to do it in our regular episode, but we started parting the people with a song of the week so they can put something on when they're done listening to us. What have you been listening to this week? Do you have a song?
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of house music recently for some reason. It's come into my life over the past 6 months. Really enjoy it. There's a song called "I Only Smoke When I Drink" by I think it's Ninimo or something of that nature. I've listened to it 15 times this week. So
nice. I'll have to check that out.
That's my song of the week. "I Only Smoke When I Drink" by Ninimo.
All right.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
My song of the week. For some reason this week I was listening to "Sorry for the Wait" by Lil Wayne.
Love that.
Just anytime I like switch from podcast to music, I just need to listen to Wayne. And "Sorry for the Wait" has been the song.
Mine stems from yesterday's regular episode. And to be honest, I haven't really started playing it yet, but I think it will finish out my week. And that's "Waking Up in Vegas" by Katy Perry.
Nice, dude.
It came up in trivia on yesterday's episode. So
I love that.
It's in my head.
Luke, what was that song the Ariana Grande song that we listened to from the
Into
whole
You.
ride
Dang
back?
it. I should have made that my song of the week.
Dude,
and pretended like it wasn't a reference.
I tell that story all the time. I'm like, yeah, this one time, all the way back from Buffalo, a 9-hour drive through the night, we listened to one song. And these guys did not give up. Like,
oh, man. So for the listeners, Tanner went with us to the Bills-Jets game. It was a Thursday night game. And my little brother Jimmy had to get back to Cambridge so he could play in his football game on Friday. So as soon as the game was over, we drove through the night to get home. And when it started off, everyone's kind of starting to doze off or like lingering around on their phones. Things are getting quiet. And we had music on, and Into You accidentally played like 2 or 3 times in a row. And then I told PJ, I was like, how many times do you think we could play this without them knowing? And I don't think he understood my question, because if I remember correctly, he just goes, "Watch me." And I was like, I wasn't asking. And then we just played it the entire time, the whole way home from Buffalo, from Orchard Park to Cambridge. Into You by Ariana Grande. So
awesome.
there can't be that many people out there that have heard that song more times than we have.
100%. We definitely made her a few bucks from the amount of times that we streamed that song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that PJ's like, "Oh yeah, I can do it," and you're like,
I was like, "That's not what I was asking," but okay.
What have I got myself into?
Yeah. Oh,
Into
man. Good times. Yeah.
Luke, one more thing we forgot to start our
I love
episode.
that we said one more thing like 20 times.
Yeah, but this one's really important. We talked about it yesterday. We wanted to start the episode remembering the lost. And
dang.
Tanner, I don't know how
hard pivot. Way to end on a depressing note, Caleb.
I don't know how locked into the MCAA season you are this year, the Minecraft Athletic Association football season.
Can't keep a straight
I've
face.
seen a couple tweets about it.
But we would need to have a moment in silence for Pig State. Their $13.9 billion stadium was bombed.
That's crazy.
This week, and I just think a moment in silence.
Awful.
I can't even do it with
Just
the track.
Did anybody pass away?
I think
there were casualty, players, coaches.
Wow.
The coach of Ole Moo is, they looks like
he's been linked.
The culprit.
Yeah.
That's a disgusting act.
Disgusting.
An
It is.
absolutely
It really
disgusting act.
You know, these kids, they work so hard to achieve their dream. You know, Stephon Diggs was out there making plays, and
Portrait Mahomes.
What's the DeMar Hamlin one?
DeMar Hamlin.
Just DeMar Hamlin. Yeah. I know it's all the DeMar Hamlin one, but you know, all these guys working their tails off, their curly little tails, and then they just get, you know.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
That's sad.
Just sad.
I'm really sorry to hear about that.
So our thoughts go out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The piggy
horrible
bank
way to end the show.
But the piggy bank is never the same.
Damn. Are they rebuilding at least?
I think they've heard like a $20 billion stadium coming.
Yeah, I have heard they plan to rebuild.
That's how you stick it to Old Moo.
Yep, that's how you stick it to Old Moo.
Yeah.
I saw some like memorials that some of the other universities did for Pig State, which was really nice. It was really touching. I think, what was it? What are their names? I can't think of it. I did see that Chicken State or Chicken University just launched their new $11 billion stadium, so that was cool.
Okay.
Good for them. But yeah, hopefully we just get a new one for Pig State. Maybe we can start a GoFundMe or something, because it's just tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as there's not an active shooter at Villager Tech.
Yeah.
Yikes, Caleb, dude. What?
No, I know that
we were having a good time over here.
That was way too far.
It's too real.
I'm about to get canceled.
Villagers
Right.
had,
I said
to their
Deshaun
credit,
Watson was an okay guy.
yeah,
so.
that's true. You did, but you also said he was the worst human in the world.
Yeah.
So you're both
Being
ends
a
of the
bad
stick
quarterback is worse than what he did. Is basically what I said.
Yeah.
Which is not what I meant. I want to clarify. Not who I am as a man here. So.
Oh man. Yeah. It's the Tom Brenneman. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith, as there's a drive to deep left field. as Pig State is bombed again.
Oh no, don't wish
I
that.
bet Castellanos hit a home run when Pig State got bombed.
They
Probably
he had
had
to have. He had to have.
Yeah.
But all right. Any more one last things from anybody?
I got nothing.
I don't think so.
All right, I think that about wraps it up then. Tanner, do you have anything to plug? Are you going to be ever getting back to streaming? I miss you streaming.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Actually, I've been thinking about it recently.
You've hopped in
I just
there.
don't have a consistent schedule,
You
so
hopped in there,
tough.
and I feel like I've been in every time. So
Yeah,
Love that.
I did stream once, very drunk, 3 months ago. That was a good time. Played
Love
some
that.
NCAA. But yeah, I got to get back on the grind. I don't have anything to plug. I just thank you guys for having me on. It was a blast. So
Cool.
We'll have
If
to
and
do it
when I
again.
get a mini little studio set up that's not just in my room, I might do some streams so we can do a little joint stream.
Nice. I'm down.
So, all right. Well, that was fun. Thanks for coming on. You're welcome on literally anytime. Just hit us up in advance and let us know.
Yeah, will do.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.
bye.